Right, what's up again, YouTube? So this is part 3, or should I say build 3, and this is the main course. This is the one where, when I posted it on Facebook, everybody just wanted to know, like, how you made this. They really wanted a build video on this one, so here it is. And this one is my most anticipated build because, well, it's actually my favorite FPV plane. So the model is the RVJET. Very old build model, but honestly, it's one of the all-time legends, I would say. But my one obviously has been modified and kitted out to the core. Um, of the builds, so the C1 Chaser, that's my storm chaser. The Scout, the one I take on the most dangerous missions because it's the most solid. um, and then the My Twin Dream, that one is my Cloudbuster because I just send it into the skies to just surf the clouds and enjoy the views. So this one is my Grand Tourer, basically. So I have it obviously designed with the similar car theme as the C1, but instead of a Vauxhall, it's BMW. Um, but this one, I made it sort of my all-rounder flagship drone, UAV, whereby it kind of just does everything. So it can, so all of the drones, all the UAVs that I've built can all do long range missions. They're all really made for long range. But this one allows me to, have the head tracking to look around. It can fly far, it can fly fast. I could do proximity with this configuration. I can also do some long range missions as well. I can fly in the clouds. I can do some dangerous missions if I want to. But really, it's just an all-round plane that kind of just does everything, and it's supposed to be flown with my ground station, which is over there. But I'll make a video on that later. Um, but yeah, that's the general overview. So let's get to the main build. So again, in the same fashion as the other videos, I'll start from the top and then I'll move on along down the line. So here I have a custom nose. So before I did have the foam nose that comes with it. Well, actually, first off, I had the dome and I used the pan and tilt system, but unfortunately, I broke it. Just when I was fitting it with like new digital servos, I broke the pan and tilt system. I got a replacement, but by the time it came, I already fitted it with new stuff and I wasn't really bothered to try it again. So I used the foam one, which was one of which is one of these ones. I had this on it. But now, one person on the Facebook groups showed one of his RVJET builds that he was making, and I saw that he had this 3D printed nose, and I just thought it was such a sleek and cool design that I would adopt it on mine. And I modified it a bit so that it would fit a 12-gram servo. So as you can see, I have a 350-degree servo on it. And I have a 3D printed pan and tilt system with, again, the Walk Snell HD Pro camera. And yeah, I love the design. I love how sleek and smooth it is. And I love that it's detachable. So this is I think it's ABS plastic. And it's just 2 screws and you just screw it in, or you want to pop it off and change it. That's just how it is. Really easy, real simple, and it's quite strong as well. So yeah, and on the inside, so if you just bear with me one sec, as I unscrew the nose, you'll see how I've put the video transmission set up. So yeah, so I've unscrewed it now, so this is what it looks like. And what I have on mine is, so the cable, I'm using the 20 centimeter MIPI cable for the walk snail system, just so that it's easier for me to like move around when I'm detaching stuff. And I got extensions for the pan and tilt servos as well. So on top of my GT. So I'm using the Walksnail GT VTX again with some pigtails that, you know, go extend at the back and go into some washers. These are motor washers, by the way, for like the motors. I just repurposed them because they fit. Some of them, not all of them, but the ones that I had fit the SMA connectors really well. So yeah, I use that and it flushes, and there's no grounding issues or anything like that. It's perfectly fine. So yeah, so back to the video system. So I have a Sunbro Surpass Hobby fan. These are RC car fans. This is a 25 25mm one, and even on the bench with it right on top of the VTX, it still isn't enough. Like on the bench, give it a good 10, maybe, I'd say maybe 15 minutes, then the VTX will start to overheat and the fan just isn't enough on its own. I think in the air, because I haven't flown this plane yet, but in the air, this setup should be fine because there is a hole here, you can see. So that will draw in air and then there will be actual airflow pushing out. And then, as you can see here, there's exit vents coming out here, which are like bigger than the intake hole. So I think in the air, it will be perfectly fine. But while it's on the bench doing testing and whatnot, you know, I have to be very quick if I have the VTX on. But yeah, that's how I have it. And as you can see here, I have a ribbon cable, which is an extension for the SD card because it's quite difficult to, you know, move this. This setup is not really meant to be moved. It's literally supposed to stay like this. I'm not ever trying to change it in any kind of fashion. But that's also the reason why I wanted this detachable nose system, so that if I do have to do some kind of maintenance on it or service, then that's, you know, I can have easy access. Also, I like the way it looks. It kind of looks like a mini engine, you know, considering the car theme that I'm going with. But yeah, so I will just pause this and reattach the nose so that I can continue with the build. All right, so that's been reattached. So I guess we can talk about the antennas. So the antennas I'm using here are TrueRC CP5 antennas, not to be mistaken for the CP5.1s. These are, so they're not out yet, you could say. You'd have to speak to Hugo from TrueRC to get the samples, because these are, I guess they're like the beta versions, but they're basically supposed to be like the real long range circular polarized antennas, and they give an output of 5 dB. So more than the luminaire axes, but I was told that the luminaire axes still outperform these by a bit. It doesn't matter to me. I like the sleek design. I wanted to try them out, so that's why I have them on this build. So here you can see I have, you know, it's just more to do with the design. So I have this engine start button, which does light up. When I turn everything on later in the video, I'll show, you know, the two-tone colors. But this button here is a momentary, sorry, not a momentary, it's a latching switch, which I use to turn on the VTX and the fan. By the way, the fan is directly soldered onto the 5-volt pads on the VTX. So when the VTX is turned on, the fan also turns on as well. Okay, so if we pop the hood, so now you can basically see inside. So you can see here I have my SD card, and that's where the ribbon cable extension goes all the way inside. And yeah, it's very tricky to see in there, but yeah, that's basically where I have the whole unit. Got the battery. So for this plane, I have to put it this way in order to get CG. which is fine. It fits, so that's all that really matters to me. The battery is a 6S2P 9000. Well, it depends on the packs. Some of them are 9600 packs using Samsung 4.8 amp cells. Other ones as well are 11,000 milliamps using LG M58T cells or 53T cells. So it depends. So yeah, 6S2P 9600 to 11,000 milliamp hour packs for this plane. 21700 cells, of course, and yeah, it hits CG fine. Overall weight of this plane, in this configuration, the short wing is around about 2.7 to 2.8 kg, which, mind you, for a 155 centimeter long plane, that's actually a really decent weight. When I have it in my hand, it feels pretty. It feels ideal. So I imagine when you have airflow going over the foil, it'll launch just perfectly fine. People have loaded it with way more and a much less powerful powertrain. It's worked out fine for them. I'll talk about the LEDs later. So here you can see I have an OLED display. Absolutely love this. With this, you can actually see like small statistics and whatnot on the screen, and it also you can also access the menu, iNav menu, via the OLED display as well. Again, when I turn everything on, you'll see what it all looks like and stuff. And yeah, I'll talk about the aesthetics and whatnot at the end of the video. So flight controller, forgive me for the wiring mess. You know, it's got a lot of features, this plane, so it's just not easy to make it all kind of just neat and tidy. I did the best I could with what I had. So flight controller is a Maytech H743 wing light, and I've got a 8 gigabytes focus SD card for black box. But yeah, this board, it was the only one that would work, because it was, you know, it was small enough, it was ideal, it was just the best board I could use. That'll give me the most UARTs and pin outs for what I needed, essentially. There was a configuration I had where I would program, because I have done a lot of programming in this on iNav, where I had the V switch power on the engine switch automatically for the VTX, but unfortunately I underestimated just how much current the VTX actually draws, and then I had to basically reroute the power train to work differently, which is a shame, but it is what it is with these setups. Not everything goes to plan. So yeah, this one though, this is the second one. The first one, I blew the board because I reverse polarized the receiver, and I blew the old receiver, which was a TBS. I'm now running Express LOS now with the dual receivers. But yeah, I probably didn't need to replace the whole board, only the PDB board underneath, but I just thought, you know what, I didn't like the whining sound, I didn't like the smoke smell, so I just thought replace the whole thing just to be on the safe side. So what have I got connected? The glitch buster, 2 glitch buster capacitors, one for the servo, because I've got so many things connected on the servo rails, and another one for the 5-volt rail for, like, you know, the GPS, the airspeed sensor, you know, those kind of devices. Here I'm using, so I've got the same dual receiver setup. So iFlight 500 milliwatts, ELOS 2.4 receiver, and then here I have an 8681 as well. Sorry, you can't, it's not focusing. Let me just see if I can. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can see here the two receivers connected, and I'm using two dipole antennas, literally connected here on the side. So there's one to 2.4, and here's the other one. Well, it's buried inside. If you look underneath here, you can see it sticking out. So all pro drone, DIY, built. So that's that. What else have I got here? So that's the USB and buzzer. That's the standalone buzzer that I have connected. Again, if the plane crashes somewhere and the battery disconnects, this is what will start beeping and has its own standalone battery. Here I have the Bluetooth SpeedyB, so that I can connect to my phone and do settings. I can edit configuration on the fly at the flight site on my phone instead of carrying a laptop. Here, which is pretty cool, is an ADS-B receiver. So yeah, I'm running 9nav8, and I have this hooked up here, and I have a long antenna cable running through all the way through here. I'll get to this section later. And here is my antenna. So I have it in a horizontal config, sort of like, you know, a spoiler on a racing car. That's why I did it like that, just to keep up with the, you know, the whole car theme. But yeah, this actually works still in this configuration, and it does pick up flight traffic. I know this because I live next to an airport, so it does on the OSD. I have it on Mavlink, set to Mavlink V2, and it works perfectly fine. This particular one was really cheap. It was less than 100. It was less than £100. Got it for like £83. So quite cheap. Unfortunately, they don't sell it anymore. It's discontinued. It was actually on sale when I got it. So the equivalent, or all the equivalents are like more than £100. So you're gonna have to pay 3 figures. I was just fortunate that I grabbed this when I did, and yeah, but it does work, and I'm happy I got it. It was just nice to just have that feature and stuff. So here I have, as you can see, what is this? Airspeed sensor, pitot tube, and again, the static reading is from inside the cabinet. Airflow doesn't go through here. If you look carefully at the canopy, the lid, airflow goes through here, which goes into here, and it comes out from here, which is from here. But this area is completely, you know, you could say stale, you know, so there is no airflow, so the barometer readings and the static readings should be accurate. And the tubing goes all the way through here, and it's recessed into the wing in here. You can see a bit of the kind, and it goes into the pitot tube here. And I think that's a reasonable, safe distance to get good, clean airflow. So here, if you've noticed, I have a little speaker. So because I'm running with digital FPV, there's no audio. So I wanted a workaround, and the conclusion I came to was to actually add a second video transmitter. So here I'm using one of these very old Lawmate, I guess we'll talk about this section now. So if you see here, I'm using a very old Lawmate 2.4 gigahertz VTX, and I have it on the 2.3 gigahertz spectrum, because obviously I have a 2.4 gigahertz receiver here. So on the 2.3 gig, I think it's on 2.35, yeah, way far away from the 2.4 control. It doesn't really cost too much. I checked on my RSSI to check the dB readings, and it doesn't really cost too much of an issue. So, but if I am flying 2.4, I will have this turned off anyways, because it's connected to this switch. So there's another latching switch. So this turns on my 2.4 gigahertz audio, I guess, VTX and whatnot. And I have the antenna going all the way round into here, onto this side here. So that's how it works. And I have it powered off of some linear regulators, because if I use a switching back, the noise will now be picked up inside the VTX. That's just how these analog ones go. They're really noise sensitive, so I had to use very clean power. That's why I use linear backs. I have an LC filter somewhere in there as well. Yeah, here you go. There's the LC filter as well. And this speaker is connected to the 5-volt rail on my flight controller. Again, very clean powers, and normally I just have it tucked in, just in there, and it works just fine. So yeah, that's my workaround to give me live audio when I'm flying, and it works great. I'll talk about how it works on the ground station. But yeah, because back in my analog days, I loved having live audio. When I switched to digital, it kind of just got lost, so I had to figure out a way to bring it back, and this is the solution I came up with. Thanks to obviously the different compartments and the size of the plane, it made it possible. ESC, I'm using a Flycolor HV3. I think this is an 80 amp ESC with like a bunch of capacitors. Why did I get this? Because it was a really cool ESC and I wanted it. It's running the test BL Heli 32 firmware. It does work. But yeah, I was still able to configure it thanks to one of the videos. I think XJET made a video on how to still configure it if it's on the test one. So it has the settings I want, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. I didn't care to use ARM32. I still wanted to use BL32, even if it meant getting a beta version. Do it at your own risk. So yeah, that works. It's 5S to 12S. I'm running 6S, so it's fine. Here I have a smart tag. So in my planes, sorry, I'm just bending over too much. That's a bit sus. But with this, I can track the plane if it goes down. You know, typically I would be close enough where I could use my phone and then find it, while also using GPS from telemetry and stuff like that to help find the drone when it crashes. But yeah, so that's pretty much where it is, where I have it. And here I have a strobe light. Again, I took it out from somewhere here. I don't know where it is, but the main module is, yes, it's somewhere like over here. You can see it there, that little red. This piece here, it's not focusing. I don't know why it's not focusing, but it's there. So I you know, flushed the actual module and then soldered the wires, and it works just fine. And yeah, so that's the main build on the inside, and it all balances just fine. Is there anything else I missed? The battery. I always have a JST plug for testing connected to my batteries, and also from here as well. Yeah, that's pretty much the synopsis on that. And then moving on to the back, the back of the model. So I'm running a T-Motor AT series. AT 3520 with a 550 kV motor, and the prop is a 13, I think it's a 13 by 10 prop. So this is typically the prop series that is used. Oh god, that was close. That was very close. This is typically the series, the motor prop system that is used on things like the Talon Pros, you know, when they're doing like long range missions and whatnot. This is the combination that they'll typically use. So I just thought I'd use it on mine just to get the similar style efficiency. I mean, the airfoil on my one, I tried to make it as aerodynamically clean as possible, so it should be efficient. And obviously here got LEDs here, LEDs here, LEDs here. These are the Kobe LEDs, which really sleek design. And of course I've got LEDs here. Of course I'll turn it on and you'll see how it looks. And the decals as well. Anyways, when I turn on the LEDs, I'll talk more about the design and stuff and my thought process. So just bear with me one sec. So if you could hear from the music, that's the reason why I chose to use BL Heli 32 because of the music and stuff. But yeah, this is what it looks like when it's lit up. So you got the front lights, and you got the lights underneath, you know, LiDAR with the Larsen effect, and that extends also to the back as well. Not a lot of room over here. Move this thing a bit forward. At the back here, so I'll have the LEDs in a ring effect, similar to the BMW logo, and then obviously you have like just the brake lights, which it just looks so cool. Honestly, it's the coolest. It is the coolest part of this entire build. And then you can see here the engine lights. So I've got amber for standby, and then now you can hear it's turned on, green for on. So yeah, it's just really cool. Here's the OLED display, what it looks like, and it's just really awesome. I'm so proud of this build. And even like the lights as well. If I move the sticks on my transmitter, see indicators. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, that's how it is. Really cool. So the stickers, the decals, which one do I start with? So a lot of them I got from eBay. So for example, these, even these, I got them from eBay. Really hard to find. This one was like, I just guessed that maybe somebody made these, and fortunately they did make them. One person on eBay makes these, and they make it in just this size, which is the perfect size for my build. So I got it like this. If I was to do it again, I would have changed this to a 3 instead of an E, but you know, same difference. These I got from, I think I got them from AliExpress. Some of them, these are from eBay. These again from eBay as well, just some stickers. These are from AliExpress here, and then I got more here. So yeah, and then these from eBay. So yeah, it's just, you know, you just freestyle it, you just have some fun. You know, that's the hobby. You just have fun with it, you know. Again, this one I just went all out with the design because I have had so many years experience, and this was my dream plane, and I've always wanted it. So when I finally had it, I said I'm gonna go all out on the build, and this is what I came up with. So yeah, to conclude, this is my RVJET. Yeah, this is my RVJET, the Grand Tourer edition. And oh yeah, the pan and tilt. If I turn it on, so now you can see I have it connected to the sliders, so that just turns, and it works with head tracking as well, but I haven't got it turned on. It's over there. Yeah, if I just turn this off now, so head tracking off, and that's the beeper. Turns on the beeper, and that just turns everything off. And oh yeah, sorry, GPS. So I have the GPS in here. This is another Maytag GPS. you know, I thought I'd just mention that. I keep forgetting to mention the GPSs on my builds. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Servos are stock, the digital ones that come with it. It's now making this annoying beeping sound, so I have to finish this video. But yeah, it's a long one, but again, this is a very long, intensive build. So that's pretty much that. Any questions, any thoughts, you know, anything you want to know, just leave a comment in the description below and I'll get back to you. Yeah, so this is my talent, this is my hobby. Been doing it for years. Of course, I'd love to, you know, break into the commercial side of things now. The reason I went in so I guess you could say, so detailed with my builds is because I'm gonna start moving away from building for hobby purposes, and I'm now gonna move into building more commercial side of things and stuff. So if there's any startups, any companies interested in taking in talent and whatnot, then yeah, just leave a message and we'll get in touch. So that's that. Anyways, that's the end of this video, and see you later. Bye.